Hey, it's Allie from According to Allie. Today's project is a floral pattern, and I decided to try watercoloring for the very first time. For this project, you'll need a watercolor journal, some of the new Archer and Olive watercolor palettes. I'm using Warm and Jewel, and then you'll need a round brush, a detail brush, some paper towel, water, and a fine tip pen. This tutorial is going to be really basic and simple. A lot of it is just long line strokes and blobs. That's basically all you need to know how to do. So very first flower we're going to start with is kind of a lavender inspired flower with a nice long stem of green and then some purple petals. You just need to make some blobby petals clusters running up the stem. It's really simple. The more paint, the more opaque, the less paint, the more watery, but it's really fun to see it dry and get that cool watercolor effect. The next flower I'm going to do is more like an anemone or a poppy. I'm using this really pretty pink, and we're just going to use a big fat round brush. We can add more water, less water, more paint as we need it. And we're just making a big blob, make some defining petals, but basically it's a blob. Then we'll use the detail brush and some green to add some leaves. Just thick strokes to thin strokes. And after we do all of this subtle blobbiness, I don't know what else to call it, we're going to go back in with detail with some pen, so don't worry. Next flower we're going to try is a daisy style flower or an echinacea. So this is going to be the nice big pollen in the middle, but the petals are going to be white, so we don't even really have to do any more than that. We'll add a nice long stem. And there we go. I also thought maybe we'd use a little bit of accent flowers, some filler. So here's just some little dots, kind of like baby's breath or some filler in a real bouquet. Next, you take your fine tip pen. Okay, I like the messy kind of artsy look. I don't know how to describe it. So I don't try to make perfect lines. I make shaky lines. I lift my pen a little bit, but it's just defining some of these petals. And the flower I use has a nice big black center in the middle of it. Add some lines to the leaves, and there you go. You get all that detail just adding to a blob. I think this is a really good, easy way to get comfortable with watercolor. I've never done it before, and I think it turned out okay. So again, here's the daisy. We're just adding some nice, skinny, long petals on the flower, and it looks so cute. Be sure when you use your pen that the paint is dry or you'll smear it. So here is where I show you just making the pretty pattern. You can do a repetitive pattern kind of like in a line, so it's more like a garland, or you could do this pretty cluster like I have here. It's reminding me of spring. I'm really excited for spring to come. Not the heat though for me, but all the pretty flowers and allergies that come along with it. So again, we just outline the petals on the pink blobs after they dry, put the nice big black center and some of the daisy petals as well. You can tweak it as you go along, trying to not draw the exact same flower every time. I usually find myself doing that, so I have to consciously not. So there's another pretty pink flower. We add some leaves. I wanted to fill in the middle there with a little bit more stems from the daisies, and I wanted to add another lavender. After it dried, I'll just add a little bit more pen, and then up top, I added a cute little bee. He's cute. I like bumblebees. They're the sweetest. So don't be afraid to plunge into watercolor. Mistakes help you learn. This is my very first watercolor project, and I cannot wait to come up with more and show you guys some new stuff. Thank you so much for watching.